So the battle between Microsoft and Steam is heating up in a way that I would have never imagined outside of their PC stores. It appears after CES 2025, we are now seeing yet again another company jump in front of Microsoft and introduce something that they've been talking about heavily. That is an operating system, a unifying one at that, that is maximized and optimized for the handheld experience. CES 2025, there was a Steam OS device that is made by a third party, as far as like a Steam Deck type of device was introduced. And now the people at Microsoft and Xbox seem to be left scrambling to explain why they were beat to the punch as far as announcing a third-party developer for a handheld device for their ecosystem. Let's get into this one. Let's break this one down. Gabe Newell versus Jason Ronald. I know those are unlikely competitors here. Who's going to come on top? Let's talk about it. And no further ado, it is your boy MM2K of Hard Knock Digital Culture, Cloud Dosage, and MM2K Gaming back again with another episode of Quick Dose. This is where we talk about the latest and greatest in the video game news sphere. And man, oh man, do we have a great one for you. But before we get into this one, do us a huge favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and rock those bells for notifications, please, so you know when we're dropping these doses. And when you hit that bell, make sure you select all. Make sure it's not on personalized so you don't miss a thing. All right, let's talk about it. Steam OS. I don't want to say it's laughable, but who would have thought that Steam OS would give Windows a run for their money? I remember way back in the day when we were talking about Steam OS and the Steam machines and Linux-based stuff trying to compete with Windows, even in gaming, and it was a laugh. And then you got you have all these new tricks and kernels or whatever. Hey, look, I'm not the most technically advanced here, but you had a lot of this stuff happening behind the scenes where, you know, these Linux-based games that are on Steam, now is the time for them. And you've heard a lot of this talk from Microsoft about, yeah, we're handheld. We're really looking to a handheld. And we would love for Steam's marketplace to be on our handheld. We would love for Epic's marketplace to be on our handheld. And many people thought that this would kind of be like somewhat of a partnership between Xbox and Microsoft, you know, in Steam, where, you know, if people wanted a more plausible or a more competent place to get to third-party games, if they want to go to Steam and do it, great. As long as they have a place where they can enjoy their Xbox first-party games, enjoy them with us. It looked like that was the path they were headed towards, and then Steam kind of pulled the wool from under everybody's feet and said, we're not that chummy. Now we're going to be battling the same arena, and now we have handheld wars. To elaborate what we're talking about here, let me go to this article and then we'll talk about it on the back end. This is an article from Yahoo Tech. It says Microsoft is finally fighting back against the rise of the Steam OS by overhauling Windows 11 to be better on handhelds, right? And it says the Windows 11 gaming user interface is set to become more console-like, taking inspiration from Xbox and simplifying controls. New design looks to become a more substantial rival to the Steam OS in optimized usability, and there will be a focus on enhancing controllers and handheld specific features for seamless gaming. Jason Ronald talked about such in a Verge article that popped up directly after the third-party Steam OS, which I think is being made by Lenovo, if I have my information correct. Yeah, that is definitely going to be an interesting thing. It popped up. Jason Ronald, like who is the head of Next Party, I believe, or Next Party for Microsoft. They had to scramble and say, hey, look, you're going to hear something from us later in the year. Don't fret, right? Because again, it seemed like Microsoft's sales were knocked from under them once again, something that they were highlight, like it happened with cloud gaming. They were all big and bad about cloud gaming. Then came the Stadia thing. And even though Stadia is dead right now, arguably, I mean, the performance is still better than what it was when it was dead than what Xbox is right now. And now you got things like GeForce Now Ultimate. I mean, it's just like Xbox can't lace his shoes against it. Xbox games play better on GeForce Now than they do on xCloud. Period. There's no mistaking about that. All right. So, I mean, you got all these crazy elements happening. And then once again, Xbox again is being beat to the punch with putting actually something on the table versus something they were hyping. Well, there goes something even more interesting. And this is coming from courtesy of Red Dragon. He's putting out this PC World article. And I know people are like, oh, it's Red Dragon. Well, he didn't write the article, okay? And it's the article, of course, here says SteamOS is spreading beyond Valve's hardware. This could threaten Microsoft's hold on PC gaming or even Windows' hold on the PC market. Let's go look at the article. Microsoft should be terrified of SteamOS. Let's try to make that bigger. It says, 10 years ago, PC gamers were eagerly waiting Steam machines, console, Linux-based boxes built from the ground up to play PC games. They flopped due in no small part to Steam operator Valve's lack of experience working with hardware partners. We just talked about this earlier in the video. But in 2025, both Valve and its home-built gaming operating system are different beasts. And Microsoft should be afraid of them. The Steam Deck dominates PC gaming. The big story of PC gaming for the last 3 years has been the Steam Deck, this lower power, portable, relatively inexpensive machine. It's clearly something that the market has been waiting for, exciting gamers and energizing PC makers to pump out imitators like the Asus ROG Ally and the Lenovo Legion Go. But all of these machines lack a crucial component. Despite copying Steam Deck's hardware to a greater or lesser degree, they rely on Windows, as do almost all consumer PCs not made by Apple, and Windows just isn't as good as experience in this form factor. That's why Lenovo turned to Valve for its second-gen Lenovo Legion Go S, or perhaps more precisely, the Legion Go S powered by SteamOS, its full and cumbersome title. It's the first handheld PC officially powered by Valve's Linux-based operating system, but probably not the last. Lenovo is making new Windows-based versions of the same hardware, but we've already heard that Asus is working on a similar Steam-powered handheld, and Valve itself will let you download and install builds of SteamOS later in 2025. Some tech heads aren't even waiting. They're already building their own quasi-Steam OS-powered PCs. Okay. What does this all mean? Okay, and I want to give a shout out to Brad Sams. Let me see, do I still have Brad Sams' video? Yeah, right here. Please go watch this video. Go do, number one, go follow Brad Sams. Me and Brad don't always agree on what we would like to see out of gaming. And damn it, Brad, he loves those damn Cincinnati Bengals. As someone who's a native Steelers I'm a native Pittsburgher, but I'm a fan of the Chiefs. Damn you, Brad. Anyway, that being said, go follow Brad, despite those shortcomings of him being a Bengals fan. All right. We've covered Brad Sams before. He's part of the Paul Thurrott think tank, the most premier, in my opinion, think tank on all things Microsoft. And Brad covers all things specific to Xbox. Brad has a good finger on the pulse here. He's also exclaimed, Xbox, you got to get in front of this. You got to do something with Windows and make it comparable to Steam, or Steam is going to eat your lunch. Check out this video where he talks about the conversation that Jason Ronald had with The Verge, and then he's going to do subsequent videos as well. That's why I said you have to follow this channel. I love being in the know. And like I said, in 2025, I'm done with the foolery and effery, making that the premier focus. It's time for you to be educated. We got too many people out there that are telling you stuff that don't come to fruition. You don't understand where their sourcing comes from. You don't understand their background and their agendas. I want to put you in the path of people that actually have good insight and have good foresight of what's going on and why. And like I said, we've highlighted Brad Sams before, so definitely check him out. Okay, That was free of charge, Brad. You definitely deserve it. All right. Yeah, check it out. Steam OS is a different animal from what it was, as the article alludes. It is now going to be a formidable foe when it comes to these smaller form factor devices, and the fact that these devices, are dockable and you can play them on your TV. Like my brother has one. He loves his Steam. He loves his Steam Deck. It's just the only thing with the Steam Deck is it's not the most capable device, but for those that are not super clingy to performance, it might not be a bad thing. When you get these more capable devices out here, even though they're going to be more expensive than your basic console, you might see a shift here, and you might see a shift in what people are willing to use, and because of the mobility here. And this is all started by the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch is something that's portable, but then it's dockable as well. You can play it at home, and you might see more and more of this catching on. I'm a cloud gaming enthusiast, so I really don't need to have my console experience and my handheld experience all in the same device. I would rather have a specific handheld experience, like a phone or something like that, and a separate console, because I want that console to extract brute power into my TV. I don't want to make any compromises, or in order for me to get brute power, I got to spend $1 gazillion, because these handhelds are not going to be cheap. Okay. All right. So you're going to get these handhelds that are not going to be cheap. And for the power that you may want for a AAA game when you're playing at home, you might have to pay a lot of money for it to be condensed in a handheld, versus me just getting a console that can do that. Or I'd rather just build a PC. I'd rather build a PC, and then for when I'm on the go, I could just play it on the cloud. You know what I mean? But that's me. Anyway, it's not all about me, because I don't even have a Steam Deck. If it's all about me, then Steam Deck would have no sales. Okay. But Microsoft, in that video where Brad Sams, I just showed you, he talks about the challenge that Microsoft is going to have, because they're going to go with ARM as the processing core. And I know I may be explaining this wrong again. I'm a tech novice when it comes to this particular part of it, opposed to x86, where everybody else seems to be using x86. Microsoft wants to use ARM. Now, I did a little bit of research on what the difference is between x86 and ARM. It seems like x86 can allow a lot more complicated computes and things like that to happen, to where there's a lot more capabilities and possibilities, where ARM is like more efficient, energy efficient, and things like that. So if these people are using x86, Steam OS works well with x86, and that's the easier platform to build on, and ARM isn't there yet. It's going to be fully up to Microsoft and Xbox to make ARM a comparable solution to go against Steam OS. And I got to say this. Here's my thoughts and here's my conclusions. When it comes to that, I think that's where Xbox loses. Do me a favor. You may call me a hater. Just look at the thumbnail. Just look at the thumbnail here. Seriously, look at the thumbnail. The thumbnail for this video. Jason Ronald versus Gabe Newell. Gabe Newell, who took PC gaming from the brink of death and made it one of the premier ways to game. So much so to where PC gamers in droves don't want to deal with any other store but Steam. It's not just about bringing PC gaming back. They've made they've created this PC gaming cult that is like anything else, unlike anything else I've seen in gaming. Then we got Jason Ronald, who was the lead architect of the Xbox Series. The same Xbox Series that was promising you 2 different consoles that allowed you, the Series S that was going to give you 1440p 60 gaming at very powerful performant levels, and then you were just going to get a scaled up version or scaled down, whatever, on the 4K 60 Xbox Series X, and that fell flat because the Series S is severely overpowered. Xbox is missing out on games, big ticket games, or games are coming late. And Jason Ronald was the chief architect of that. That's all I need. I don't know what it is. Like, again, it seems like that I hear that the Surface team is going to build the handhelds or work on the machinery, and people are like, oh, the Surface team. But the Surface team have to work on a vision. They may put it together competently, but they got to work on a vision. That's always been Microsoft's problem, or Xbox's problem, is how they layer their vision and how they want to roll it out. The Surface team created the Xbox One X. It was the least selling console of that generation, the Xbox One X. So again, I'm not saying we're going to get an incompetent machine. It may not be as incompetent as the series machines are concerned, but when you have these people that have failed and have failed tremendously, still leading these efforts, and you're going against Gabe Newell and his engineers, I don't. And again, Brad Sams explains this in this video. And if I'm understanding what he's saying correctly and what he's saying is true, Xbox now trying to develop all this through ARM to the x86. They got to be the ones that spearhead this. Like, they're not doing this after someone else has already done it, and so they can just extend it. They got to do this themselves. And Jason Ronald is the guy to do it. Nah, I don't have any faith in it. Something has to happen at Xbox where very competent leaders that exude competence are in charge of stuff, and they gotta have successes under their belt. I think the concern that people are having, I've seen Windows Central article, I've seen Brad Sams talk, the concern that people have, I think, is legit. Jason Ronald hasn't proven himself. He may be a nice guy, he might have that eccentric, cool, nerdy beard. Outside of that, he hasn't proven himself. I'm concerned for Xbox and we gotta get competent leadership here in order for this stuff to happen. With that said, I know everybody's like, everything is doom and gloom with you when it comes to Xbox. No, if you're a member, you get to check out my video where I talk about where Xbox, beyond the handheld and just with everything, they can see success. They can definitely do it. But I'm not confident with this guy doing this. Look at what he did with the consoles. Look at what Xbox was saying as far as they were expecting the consoles to be a lot more desired than what they were, and and all this other stuff around the series consoles, and how that's flatlined, how they've completely changed tune mid-generation. This is the guy you got hitting it. I don't think it matters who's creating the hardware. Like I said with the Xbox One X, very well put together. Didn't matter. The vision has to be on point. People have to have the good foresight, and you got to have great leadership. But when you don't have great leadership at the top, how are you going to determine great leadership to follow? That's it from your boy. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below, because like I always say, who cares what I think? But if you did like what I had to say, check out the links below to follow me. They will lead you, again, to Hard Knock Digital Culture, Cloud Dosage, and MM2K Gaming. With that said, you have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.